can you show and tell us about how to create these 4 plugins?
Sure. So we're going to click on Edit to go into the Editor Workshop. On the right side here, there's a Plugins button.
So if you could, let's back out of this page just so that we know how we got here, because you're in the My Matterport Workshop. You've selected a particular tour. Now that you have this tour, now you're going into Edit, and then in Edit on the right side was some menu items that you were using. Okay.
Yep. So we got plugins, and you want to start with the first one, Compass?
Sure.
All right. So here we have it enabled already, but I can disable it. And actually, let me disable all of them real quick, just so that I can show you how they can move around.
Yeah, and while Tom's doing that, I think the thing I would point out is these are just the first 4 plugins by Matterport. I could imagine the direction that Matterport is going on plugins is to enable third parties to write their own plugins. And so all of a sudden you have what you think of an Apple app store, except in this case, it's the Matterport App Store. And then it's refined once more. It's the Matterport plugin store. And I could imagine that there will be plugins that are either free from other third-party companies or some way that Matterport with that third-party company figures out how to charge for that plugin. So when I think of some of the third parties that do the robust mini map feature or the robust lead magnet, Tom, as you described, with capturing data ties into a CRM, I could imagine that could or should be a plugin that's offered by a third-party company that's really takes it to the next level. So, and I suspect since Matterport, just released these first 4 plugins on February 15th, 2024, I would imagine by the end of the year, we'll see either more plugins from Matterport or more plugins from third-party companies. And I think, one of the things that comes to mind for me, Tom, that it seems to come up in the We Get Around Network forum almost monthly is the ability to have swimming pools look blue, the water to look blue rather than to look black. And perhaps that'll be a plugin. Okay,
and to that point real quick, one that I use actually on a regular basis is I use a third-party kind of overlay. TVs that are in houses or in public spaces, they're usually black. And so why can't we just highlight this TV and then throw in a YouTube link or a Vimeo link or some sort of video file that plays maybe, I don't know, highlights of this property or an agent introduction of a house.
Awesome example. Again, I think that the challenge is there are a number of Matterport third-party platforms that offer that exact solution you described, Tom. But the challenge is they generate their own unique Matterport URL. It's the third party's URL. Right. And therefore you can't mix and match all these different things because it's unique so hopefully what happens is all these third-party apps get reimagined as plugins so that you could use a combination of a Matterport plugin and plugins from different third-party companies all within the Matterport ecosystem. Tom, to your point, it just seems obvious that you should be able to put a video up on that TV set rather than being staring at that blank monitor.
We can have a whole separate discussion of feature requests we'd like to see coming, and I'm sure we could fill up 2 hours of just that.
Yes, I actually.